This is Jocko Podcast number 50 with Echo Charles and me, Jocko Willink. Good evening, Echo.
Good evening.
To be or not to be. That is probably the most famous of all of Shakespeare's lines. And in fact, it's so famous that it's often, unfortunately, used as a punchline, used as a joke. To be or not to be. It becomes easy to forget what Shakespeare is actually talking about. He's talking about death. And more specifically, in this case, he's talking about suicide. And Prince Hamlet, the character that delivers that famous line, who's often called insane, but who himself says, I am essentially not in madness, but mad in craft, meaning he is playing the role of insanity to further his own objectives. But not everybody even agrees on that point. But here's what Hamlet does say. To be or not to be, that is the question. Whether 'tis nobler in the mind to suffer the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune. In other words, he's talking about, is it worth it to suffer through the problems we have in life? And he goes on, or to take arms against a sea of troubles, and by opposing, end them. Meaning, should we fight against the pain of life, this sea of troubles? And in that fight, should we choose death, which is the only alternative to life? And he goes on, to die, to sleep no more. And by a sleep to say we end the heartache and the 1,000 natural shocks that flesh is heir to. So he's saying that death lets you escape all these hardships of life and these 1,000 natural shocks. And he finishes it out. 'Tis a consummation devoutly to be wished for, to die, to sleep. And he's saying that that is what we should wish for, to die. And that is this most famous of soliloquies, is about killing yourself. It's about suicide.